the Great Pelican State.
11 years ago today, as I record this, I had just won the jackpot of fatherhood with my eldest son, Judah. I have often said that Judah fell out of the womb taking care of himself. And while the meaning, Judah has always been a very self-sufficient and easygoing child, is true, his arrival was anything but easy. I was telling him just last night that last night, a decade and one more year ago, his mother and I hurried to the hospital to check in just after midnight, expecting a kid no later than mid-morning. When midnight came again, and still no Jude the dude, we were perplexed. Also, we were trivialists. Everyone had known the celebrities born on January 22nd and the world events thereof, but for the 23rd, we were out of luck. Judah was a ninja from the very beginning. He snuck in behind us, then hid in the canopy until we weren't expecting him anymore. Sneak attack! He has all the good looks of his mother's family and mine, and all the emotional empathy of both sides combined. He's like the emotional Captain Planet for our extended squad. With your powers combined, I am Captain Understanding. He's slow to anger, quick to de-escalate a situation, and always up to cheer on the team, especially when the rest of the team doesn't feel like cheering. I've watched his interests and abilities expand and shift as he's edged and then fallen full-on into his preteen years. He is literally a joy to me. And while I know I tell him, I sure hope he knows it's true. He's the first kid to call me Daddy. He'll be the first I have to get used to being on his own. The first that lives somewhere else full time. The first that has a house of his own, with rules of his own, as I so often remind the 4 kids they can have one day if they just grow up and get jobs. He's the first that I got to know as a person outside of being my child. That line is mysterious and different for every child, and obviously everyone has personality from the beginning, but there's a moment when you realize this little clone of mine is actually not just me, or even some stew of what I am and what his mother is. This is another person, and he's going to have likes and dislikes, thoughts and opinions on almost everything that might have nothing at all to do with my own thoughts and likes and dislikes, opinions. That's a scary moment. The monster is loose from the dungeon. But also, it's a triumphant moment when you get a glimpse of the future, when you and the next link in your personal chain of humanity can share notes on what the hell this has all been about, and where do we try to swing that chain from here? Someone to talk to. Someone to play games with. Someone to go to the movies with. But no matter how they're alike or how they differ from you, you'll know all the backstory on this one. You're there from the ground floor, which makes every new discovery amazing, and makes every old story a new discovery. I cannot wait to show him films like Jaws. His young heart still can't take it, but he's going to love those characters all so much when it can. The Godfather. He is so much Michael in the ways Michael is meant to be and could be a hero, that the tragic fall will hit him as hard as it ever did me, even if he doesn't love the films as much as I do. And funnily enough, The Big Lebowski. First, because it's my favorite film, which he's asked about a few times, and everyone should be given a chance to fall in love with it. But also, second, because he's one of those kids who both understands the useful application of profanity and the inherent comical nature of it when properly applied. But also, he's the kind of kid that you don't have to worry about repeating everything he hears or finds funny. This movie's use of the more colorful parts of the English language will blow his, let's say, 16 to 18, depending, year-old mind. In the last year and a half or so, we've already taken advantage of this a bit. Kelly will share the occasional not-so-child-friendly meme or video with him alone. He'll laugh and enjoy it with us, but the real tickle is watching him crack himself up thinking about it later, while everyone else is doing something else entirely. Or even better yet, one of the other kids makes a comment that references the video, but doesn't know it, and Judah will catch mine or Kelly's eye and then burst out into laughter. It is the best. He loves movies and family movie nights. And even when the rest of the kids have given up to play some game or all the games at once upstairs, he's still right there on the couch with me and Kelly, or even by himself if we're doing housework, engaged and enraptured in a good story well told. I don't know whether he'll end up being a storyteller in his own right, but I do know he'll have stories to tell, no matter how he reveals them to us. I also know that I am beyond privileged and humbled to share in the first parts of it. I hope I'll see as much of it as is at all reasonable for me to ask, and then that his story continues on for longer than mine ever would or could. I can guarantee Judah's story is a good one. Happy birthday from Dad and all these other weirdos listening. For now, I'm Joel. That's his story, or one of them anyway. Thanks for listening.
You got busted without a dime to your name. You took a bus ride with your mindset to fame. They had a tough time remembering your name. Well, we don't, no we don't. You missed a big chance to be a Hollywood star, but for most folks that never was in the cards. Well, you sailed and you failed. Well, at least you got to do it while you were young, before you get old and you lose your nerve. So here's to you from the great Pelican State. It's never too late to come back home. So here's to you for doing what you gotta do. We'll be waiting here with love in place from the great Pelican